YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Life for Brian. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day out there. And I'm here with my 2009 Corvette ZR1 C6 iteration. Of course, everyone knows that the mad scientist over at Chevrolet just dropped the specs and reveal of the C8 generation ZR1, 1,064 horsepower, just absolutely insane. 800, almost 900 foot-pound of torque, I believe. Again, just insane hypercar numbers, guys. This, of course, is the C6. I'm actually just letting the car run because it's super hot, and when I do interior shots later on, it's just a little bit more bearable. But the car is basically stock. And I'm doing a different kind of video today. It's a would you rather video, and specifically, would you rather have a C6 ZR1 or a C8 ZR1? Now, of course, that may not be, in a lot of people's eyes, a fair comparison, because obviously the C8 is the greatest and newest and baddest and fastest and just everything, and this, of course, is 2 generations before. Of course, not taking into account the C7 ZR1, but this is the ZR1, of course not counting the C4 generation, that really kind of put the ZR1 literally and figuratively kind of back on top of the hill. I think it was nicknamed King of the Hill. At the time that this came out, guys, 638 horsepower, again, just for its age and time, definitely supercar beating numbers at a fraction of the price and cost of, you know, your Lamborghinis, your Ferraris, your McLarens, etc., etc. And same thing's happening now with the C8, with, again, those hypercar numbers, 1,064 horsepower, almost 900 foot-pound of torque. It's just really amazing, mind-blowing numbers. So the question is, would you rather have a C6 or C8? Now, of course, it's not really a fair comparison in most people's eyes, because, again, would you rather have a 1,000-plus horsepower hypercar beater or something like this? And, you know, there's a lot of different things that, you know, you can take into account, guys. Obviously, like, let's look from an aesthetic standpoint. Okay, so some people are really, really big fans of how the C8 looks. I think it looks okay. I personally think it's kind of like a mishmash of Ferrari and McLaren kind of thrown together. I think it looks okay. And I'd be lying, especially when the C8 first dropped, the Stingrays. When I saw one coming down the road, I kind of had to do a quick double take to see if it was Ferrari or McLaren. So again, they're don't get me wrong, I'm not poo-pooing on them. They're very nice looking cars. But this, of course, is the quintessential Corvette. It's also the last generation with the trademark circular headlights, which, of course, the C7 abandoned and went to the rectangle shaped, which the C8 also adopted. But yeah, the C6 that has the classic shape, side profile, obviously front engine look and layout of Corvettes up until the first and only mid-engine C8 Corvette. So, you know, I mean, is it a toss-up in a lot of people's eyes? I think, you know, it's hard to say. I've seen a lot of comments, guys, where a lot of people actually, maybe for, I don't know, nostalgic reasons, or just, you know, actually aesthetically, they prefer the look of the C6 generation. I personally like the look of the C6 and C7 generations over the C8. That's just me. In particular, the ZR1 models, they're beefier, they're thicker, they kind of have a more menacing and aggressive stance, obviously a little bit wider. You know, wheel flares, fender flares, etc., the front scoops, the hood window, and whatnot. And I really like their stance. I really like their aggressive look, and they are your prototypical classic Corvette look. Obviously, the C8 is a new look. It's the first ever mid-engine layout, so obviously the more generations that come out, I guess people become more used to that. But from an aesthetic standpoint, I actually prefer the look of the C6, and I may be the minority on that, but that's just me. And, you know, performance-wise, guys, again, it's not a fair comparison. This is a 2009. The 2025 ZR1, when it comes out, of course, will be, what is that, like 16 years separates the two cars in terms of technology, performance, just everything, right? So that's not a fair comparison. So from a look standpoint, again, it's completely subjective in terms of what you prefer, kind of what is your cup of tea. But really, I think the one thing that might kind of sway someone one way or the other is really inside of the car. And I think it's right here. So this is really, for me, guys, the one thing that personally for me, would make me purchase a C6 ZR1 over C8. Now, give me a second here. Now, of course, people must say, well, of course, that's stupid because, you know, C6 is a fraction of the cost, so of course you're going to get a C6. But if cost is no option, everyone and their mother is going to go for a C8. Well, that's actually where I disagree. I would actually not go for a C8 ZR1, which the price has not been released, guys, yet, but apparently it's going to be, you know, northwards of anywhere. I mean, I've seen estimates anywhere between $150 to $250, $300,000, right? So again, people might say, well, you're just hating, you're being whatever, bitter. You can only afford a C6. That's why you're saying C6. No, I mean, technically, theoretically, if you guys follow the channel, you know, I could probably afford a C8 ZR1. But actually, I would get the C6 for this simple reason, the fact that it's a manual. The C7 didn't come in a manual. The C6 was the last, and I believe will be the last ZR1 ever, which comes in a proper 6-speed manual. And this is really the one and the main and the only, the second, third, fourth, fifth reasons that I would get a C6 ZR1. In fact, over a C7 ZR1, which again is faster, more powerful, more horsepower, more torque, all that stuff. But I would still get the C6 ZR1 because it was the most powerful, ZR1 ever made with a proper 6-speed. And that's really kind of the only thing that, well, I mean, aesthetics aside, I actually crazily enough think that the C6, now of course look at the interior, guys, like I get it's a Chevy Cobalt steering wheel, the inside's kind of chintzy, and you know, these seats absolutely suck. This fake carbon fiber is like horrible, but okay, I get it, I get all that stuff. But and up until recently, this thing was falling apart, but apparently these things break and become loose on all these C6 Corvettes. But anyway, back to my point, guys. This is the last proper age for the 6-speed manual in the ZR1. You won't get any ZR1s after this age, after this generation, in a 6-speed, including the C7 and of course the Z8. So in that regard, guys, I would go for a C6 because again, save the manuals. I love shifting my own gears. I like rolling through my own gears. I like driving manuals. I really don't like automatics. My S2K, of course, is a manual. 90% of my cars are manuals. Maybe 80% of my cars are manuals. But I like driving manual cars. And in fact, I like manuals so much, I'm strongly considering doing a conversion on my 2003 Modena to a 6-speed, but that's another separate story. But yeah, for me, guys, again, I think it's awesome. You know, the C8 ZR1, I think it's just going to be, again, it's going to be mind-boggling. It's going to be kind of, you know, people are going to, don't get me wrong, $250,000, $150,000, $300,000 is a boatload of money. But people who pay that are going to be able to just, you know, blitz and bury, you know, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, McLarens, whatever, Pagani's, whatever other supercar, hypercar there are out there, Hennessy, and it's just, you know, at a fraction of the cost, and it's just amazing. I mean, kudos to them, American company, American cars, muscle cars, sports cars, whatever. That's fantastic. And again, I am a Corvette owner now, so yeah, I mean, I think that's just really cool. But for me personally, guys, I would stick with the C6 for looks. Yes, which is very subjective, of course, because you get the classic Corvette look, and more than anything, this is really a really nice manual, guys. I don't think I've done my, you know, rolling through the gears thing that I do typically for all of my my other manuals. But it's I love the shape of the knob, how it kind of fits just very nicely into your hand. The angle's just perfect. It's meaty. It's very smooth. The clutch is nice. I love this shifter. Love it. And again, this is the main reason why I would stick with the C6. So let me know if you guys think, if I'm just insane, am I being a hater? I need to service my tire monitor because I just got new tires on this. But let me know what you guys think. Am I insane? Would you guys go for the C8 ZR1 over the C6 ZR1? Do you have a C6 ZR1? Let me know what you think. Comment below, like and subscribe, thumbs up. Always support the channel. Appreciate you guys' support and all the comments and all the feedback and all the love so far. Hope to catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.